Cats and TV.
Hey everybody, Cats and TV. And today we are talking with Thollem and ACVilla.
Hi, I'm ACVilla. You can call me Angela. And I work with video. I'm a visual artist.
I'm Thollem and I tour perpetually with Angela. And I'm a musician, a pianist, a keyboardist, a vocalist, a composer, and an improviser. So Thollem's Astral Traveling Sessions is a year-long series of monthly releases that Astral Spirits Records out of Austin is publishing. And these are all recordings that I made with well over 70 musicians on my tour in 2019.
At one point around 15 years ago, Thollem realized that I had been collecting video and photos of all the venues where he was performing. I would instantly be reading the room and looking around, and pretty much 99.9% of the venues were very interesting, meaning they all had their own characteristics. So when I investigated the venue, I got into little details. And I started moving around my camera and finding different points of view. So then I had this large collection after a while. Thollem noticed that at one point.
Well, I mean, I noticed that along the way as you were accumulating stuff,
Yeah.
but it just, there was something in particular that I was interested in. And yeah, it all just kind of like, all of a sudden there was this like, whoa. Angela's just incredibly observant. And I would see a lot of her photographs and videos after we'd been somewhere and realized like, I was there too, you know? How did you see all of this? Where was I? And so, yeah, that was a great moment to, when you discover something so deep about your partner after, you know, many years.
My focus is not post-production. So everything I do in real time with the idea that it will be manipulated very little after it's captured. And I like to say that I use digital in a very analog way.
For 4 years now, well, except for this last year, but we've been living out of our small Ford Transit Connect van. And so it's just big enough for our two bodies to sit and to lie down in the back. I mean, for a decade and a half or so, we've been mostly on the road driving around this country and then around Europe and some in Mexico and some in Canada. But since 2016, we decided that we wanted to just really focus on the US. And so we got this van and we decked it out. And as we go, we've been gathering footage of all kinds of stuff. So in 2016, we did a project called Who Are Us? And that was just about our experience around the country in all kinds of different ways. And we set out to do this, but we had no idea what that meant exactly. And as we went through it, we started to discover that basically to define this country, we focus primarily on the point where people came into contact with the land and each other. So that includes, you know, roads and power lines and all kinds of things like this. Then in 2019, we started a project called The Now of Us, and we're going to continue it as we travel again. And eventually we'll publish it. But it's already such a huge amount of, it's kind of overwhelming.
I had been documenting murals just because it was there and I was there at the same point. All sorts of different murals. And again, Thollem found this footage while he was looking through my footage to make music videos and such. And he said, you know, we should consider making another project, base it on murals. And murals, we decided with a message, because there are many beautiful murals. We had to narrow it down. And not only that, but when we work together on projects, our projects are socially driven and
Our collaborative,
our
collaboration.
collaborations. And so this project with murals had a message. I saw that our project at that point would be much enhanced with a camera that could move around in different ways than I could move it around. So that meant having a drone to reach these huge murals in a very close-up way. And to honor not only those concerns in the city and those that pride in their elders, but also to honor the artists themselves, the muralists, by showing what type of material they were using, what type of surface they had to be painting on, the area, what was the context around within which they were working. All of that is so important. And the idea of public art is just vital to every community.
I was invited for residency at Pioneer Works to work in their recording studio there. You know, I have a lot of friends in New York, great, who are all great musicians. So I was inviting a lot of people over to the studio to record, and Angela spent most every day there too in Pioneer Works, which is this amazing building. It's an old ship factory, you know, so it's just all brick and it's huge. And so she was there with her video camera, and they kind of gave her an honorary residency. Our residency concluded with a concert and showing of video work that Angela had done while we were there. And half of the concert was the trio with Michael and Nels Cline. The other half was with Ravish Moman, Yuka Honda, and Laura Ortman.
They expected just to have Thollem working in the recording studio. They found out that I had been thinking about this one approach to video, and said, well, we have a very large projector that you can use. So I thought, oh, okay. And what the project or the idea is what I call contextualizations, where I take footage that I've captured and then project it onto surfaces that are either similar in theme or that accentuate the theme that I'm getting at in that piece. So what you see in that piece with Thollem and Nels and Michael Wimberly is you see the present moments that I was experiencing, and like that boy riding the bicycle inside of the building. That was his first time on the bicycle. I mean, he got onto that bicycle as if he had been riding a bicycle since he was 5 or something. But then later on told me, oh, that was my first time. So then what I had done was I had video recorded different parts of the outside of Pioneer Works. They have this gorgeous garden patio area. And also I projected against where Thollem was recording. And it's a stack of shipping containers. And so that's what you see, and it's painted white. So it was perfect. And that's what you see in that video. It was just all on site, and contextualizations is made for that. It's made to express where I am in that moment. There was a gentleman there who helped me a lot while I was there. He was working. He was just always on hand. And he came up to me afterwards and he said, thank you so much. I had not realized that I stopped seeing where I work, and I see how special it is.
Mhm.
And I am so moved. And I was not expecting that. This was the first time I had shown this idea of contextualizations, and that just threw me for a loop. I mean, a good one.
Piano is a technological marvel of its time. It's kind of the height of industrialization. I think that kind of climax point, like being able to get all these materials and resources and mine and log and the amount of energy that goes into creating a piano is mind-boggling, actually. And I was focused on the piano for almost all of my life until I guess it's been about 8 years now. And at that point, for a variety of reasons, I thought, okay, this is time to really delve into electronics. And so I started buying and selling instruments as we traveled, and I probably went through 25, 30 different instruments in the last 6 years or so, really only having one at a time. At first, I was looking for an instrument that was piano-esque, piano-ish, or had piano-ness to it. And then it dawned on me that's really not what I'm after. It was just I had this knee-jerk reaction, like I had to have well-weighted keys, 88 keys, blah, blah, blah. It's like, if I want that, I play a piano. I don't need another instrument to play a facsimile of a piano. So at that point, I really became liberated. And because I wasn't looking for anything in particular, I had no particular aesthetic that I was after. And it was became collaborative process with the instruments and technology itself. So most of the instruments that I have had, I've really tried to keep it as minimal as possible because we are traveling all the time. And so that's a limitation for me. And I also appreciate that aspect of it. It's good to have parameters, especially in this infinite world of synthesized sounds, I mean, and I'm not presumptive enough to say how my music benefits others, but I know that I want it to, and it benefits me. And I continually become a more interesting and empathetic and interested and curious person through the process of my work and working with others.
What he offers the audience and what his performances with others offer is a chance to listen differently. And I'm talking about people who are new to listening to improvised music and people who are audiophiles of improvised music. And all of them listen. And again, they're all in that present moment, listening to that and listening to how those musicians are interacting sonically. And that is an amazing experience to witness.
There's so many variables, obviously, for what the future is going to look like for musicians from a financial standpoint or activities standpoints, how involved we'll be able to be with each other and with audiences and so on. I think many, mid-sized venues are shutting down, and I don't see how they'll be able to just start back up again. I mean, it's hard enough to keep something, a venue going that's dedicated to music, let's say, or music and alcohol or food or however, but it's so hard to keep those going to begin with. And once you lose it, I don't know how you start up again. So I think there'll be a lot of like the higher financial end of venues and organizations will remain because they have the resources to be able to, for better or for worse, And I think a lot of DIY. It's going to be a lot more DIY. People having shows in their homes and or in churches or in libraries or in schools, or maybe there'll be a lot more in public places all around. I don't know. I think it's an opportunity for us to be really creative about how we think about going about it, not just trying to go back to the way it was before. I think this is a discussion that people are having on all levels of society right now, right? So, we'll see.
To find out more about the work of Thollem and ACVilla, please visit their websites and check out the description below this video. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to CatSynth TV.
You are watching CatSynth TV.